Today we're wrapping the Corvette C8 with the light glare dark gray vinyl, as well as going over some of the necessary vicrez tools that are needed for the wrapping process.
Usually the main tools I usually use, my main ones are the squeegee, which allows me to flatten out the wrap, take all the bubbles out. Yeah, I use also the corner of the squeegee to tuck it in. A blade allows me to trim the rhino, make my cuts, everything. I just like using the glove because sometimes when I'm using my hand, I'll get stuck, and then I'll create a wrinkle. To a point when I use a glove, it allows me ways just to add a little bit more smoother. Pretty much it, just pretty much doing permanent tools and the tucking tool. Squeegee blade and tucking tool. Those are pretty much the primary tools I need. So every time before I begin to cut, I always do a preheat, just so it could set up my guiding points. It'll probably be like this. I don't know if you see. It's a little bit way too deep in, but once I heat it up, it kind of heals it, you see? So that's looking a little nice cutting point there. Well, right now I'm measuring to see how much I'm gonna need to cover up this door. And you always wanna make sure you always leave at least 3 inches extra just so you could have enough to play around with. It's always best to have more than less, because sometimes when you stretch it, it'll like kind of shrink the wrap to a point where you're not to like take it, either remove it, start over, or just overstretch it again. You don't want to do that, because then you're gonna have a lot of glue lines, and see it start fading. So right here, I'm gonna need at least 35 inches. Just trimming a little bit right here, just because when I took it in, this little side screws sticking out a little bit, so I don't want that to bother me when I'm installing it. My way of starting pretty much doors with this type of material is pretty much starting it with their vertical. That will allow me, for like the wrap just to not have trouble. The necessary tools, I always like having a pouch. The vicrez pouch, pretty much allows me to have all my tools tucked in there. The vicrez glove, and some tuck-in tools. These are pretty much the primary tools I need to wrap, and also a heat gun. This material was a little bit more forgiving than the glitter gold. It's more flexible, more stretchable, easier to work with. All the other vinyls are tacky, but compared to the glitter gold, it's way much better. Once we get to the bumpers, I feel like that's gonna be the most challenging parts of the car, just because it has more angles, more seams. We're gonna have to do a lot of seams and inlays.